Okay, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to episode 96 of the Fortnite Mythbusters. We're getting really close to episode 100. I still don't know what I'm gonna do for that just yet. But anyways, guys, just like always, if you do have a myth you would like me to test in the next or future episodes of the Fortnite Mythbusters, make sure to go down in the comments and drop a comment of that myth for a pretty good chance to be featured. And if you guys do enjoy today's video at any moment, or hopefully learn something new, feel free to consider leaving a like. Let's see if we can smash 15,000 likes on today's episode. That would be actually insane to get. And also, 85% of my viewers aren't actually subscribed to me. So I mean, if you do enjoy my content and you would like to see more, feel free to consider subscribing and turning on those post notifications to never miss another Fortnite Mythbusters episode. Anyways, guys, without further ado, let's get right on into episode 96 of the Fortnite Mythbusters. Kicking things off with the very first myth. This myth is what happens when a helicopter blade hits someone that is riding on a zip line. So if you guys didn't watch the last episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters, we basically went over the majority of kind of like the common sense myths for the helicopters, brand new helicopters that were released into the game. And one of those myths actually showed us that if you do get hit by an enemy helicopter, it'll do 50 damage to the player, and it'll also kind of like knock them back a little bit. Surprisingly, I actually tried this twice when I had an enemy riding on a zipline and my helicopter was kind of hovering right next to the zipline. The very first attempt, it did the 50 damage to the player that was on the zipline, and it also knocked them off, as well as kind of damaging my helicopter a little bit. I don't know if they directly hit my player or what, but it seemed like a little piece of debris fell off my helicopter at the exact same time as it hit him. But the second time that the player was actually hit by the helicopter blade while on the zipline, it just killed him immediately. It didn't show any animation as if his player was being launched. It just kind of killed him in place, and he just kind of died, which was, I don't know, I was kind of expecting for him to kind of like launch off of the zipline, but again, he was only 50 HP, and that could be why as well. Going into the next myth is, since helicopters are now added into the game, can you fly one henchman or the henchman boss to another location with other henchmen? Now, this has actually been a myth we've tested a couple times on the channel, but now helicopters have been added, which means you have a quicker way to get around the map, more mobility compared to what we used to have, which was basically only boats, and those are pretty dang slow. Anyways, in the past, we tried to carry a henchman or a henchman boss to another location, and unfortunately, that would not work. The boss or the henchman, they would kind of just bleed out by the time you're like halfway there. So when we were able to try this out with the helicopter, the two closest locations is either the agency to the grotto or the agency to the shark cove. So for this specific one, I went to the shark cove while carrying a henchman on my back, and unfortunately, he bled out in air. Now, yeah, you can make a bunch of excuses saying maybe I could have gotten the henchman down right next to the helicopter and then picked them up and left immediately. But by that point, we were already so far away from the other agency. We were basically only halfway there. It's practically impossible to actually get another henchman to another location unless cozy campfires are either added back into the game, or chug splashes, or if they do make it so bandage bazookas are actually able to heal enemies. Going into the next myth is, if you go into creative mode and set it to 1000 health, then damage yourself all the way down to 1 HP and use a medkit, what health will you be on? So I think he's trying to say his medkits, will it only heal you 100 HP or all the way up to 1000? Now, this is actually a very good myth, but unfortunately, it's nothing that we could actually use in a real game, since in a real game, you only can go up to a max of 100 of the green HP, and then you also have an extra 100 shield on top of that. Anyways, when I tried this myth out, I basically set it to 1000 HP and try to get myself down to 1 HP. It's pretty difficult when you're just taking fall damage. It's either hit or miss. Sometimes you could do 1000 fall damage, the next time it could only be like 100. So I got myself beneath 100 HP to see how much it would actually heal me up to, and with the regular medkit, it'll heal you straight up to 100, and that's it. But surprisingly, with this one, it would heal you 100 extra HP on top of what you had, so I was at like 150 or something. And then it would actually allow me to take another medkit, and then another medkit, and then another one, all the way up till I was a max of 1000 HP. I thought that was actually pretty interesting. I was surprised that Fortnite did not put a cap to it, where if you have over 100 HP, you are not able to heal, because I know in the past, like bandages, you can't heal unless it's, 75 HP or less. So I thought that was pretty strange with this. Jumping straight into the next myth is what happens when you wear a boss suit to the exact same location as that boss. Now for this myth, I think he means the skins that you actually get from the battle pass that are basically the exact same thing as the bosses at certain locations around the map. In the battle pass, you have like TNT Tina, and then you also have the guy from the agency, Meowsicles. You have every single boss. So if you do put on that skin and you go to that certain location, will it kind of act like a disguise? Will you be able to run around the entire location with no one shooting at you, open up chests, all of that sort of stuff? Will anything actually work? When I tried this myth out, I tried it with TNT Tina as well as Brutus, and I went to both of their locations, and unfortunately nothing would work. It would not allow me to scan myself to open up doors and chests while I was in the skin for that specific location, nor will the enemies not shoot at me. Literally, you go there, everybody will shoot at you. You're basically a regular player. To be honest though, it does kind of make sense, because if this was a thing, if it would give you a massive competitive advantage, as well as it would make the game a little bit pay to win. I mean, you have to pay for the battle pass in order to unlock these skins, and people can pay ahead in order to not get shot at certain locations. So it totally makes sense. Jumping straight into the next myth is if you kill every single shadow or ghost henchman at a certain location, will the last one alive still get knocked down? Now I tried this myth out at the agency. I basically landed there, scoured the entire location from top to bottom multiple times, and I left one specific henchman left, and that was the one guarding the vault, because he usually doesn't come up from underneath there. So I left him to be the very last one alive. After searching around the entire agency and killing every single henchman that I saw, I then walked down to the vault and killed the final henchman, which is the one guarding the vault with the minigun. And surprisingly, he actually got knocked down on the ground, and he started crawling away, which I thought was totally weird. Usually if a henchman gets knocked down, they will sometimes crawl towards like their teammates, like a teammate henchman, or even that the henchmen will start running towards the knocked person and go and revive them. But in this case, he eventually would have just bled out, and nothing much really happened. So I guess the very last henchman, he does get knocked, which is kind of interesting. Jumping straight into the next myth, and a highly requested myth. This myth is what happens when you let a bot win a game and get a victory royale. So in the past, we've done a couple myths regarding the bots. We've tried to add them before. We've done so many things, and I'm not talking about like the decoy grenades or anything. These are actual bots that Fortnite uses to fill their entire lobbies. I don't know why. Maybe so they don't know that the game is dying. I don't really even know, but I got super lucky to actually get in a game with a bot, and he just so happened to be the very last one alive, which I was pretty lucky, I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, basically, I got to the very last kill, and I let that person kill me, obviously, so I would get second place. And I then searched up the username of the person who actually got the victory royale. I tried to search up their stats, even add them. It would not allow me to, and we tested out in an earlier episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. When you try and add a bot, it won't let you. So basically, bots, they could win matches. Nothing really just happens, though. I mean, like, it's kind of a waste of a win. Jumping straight into the next myth. The next myth is what happens when the boss is put in front of ID scanners? Will the door or even the chest open, or will it say shadow or ghost henchmen only? I thought this was actually a pretty good myth, because usually in a real game, if you knock down the boss, you usually won't pick them up to go open up a door or scan to open up a chest or something like that. You usually kill them instantly. That way you get their mythical gun as well as the card to the vault to go get even better loot than that one chest you would scan them for. But anyways, with the bosses not actually wearing the disguises that the shadow or the ghost henchmen are wearing, surprisingly, when you do scan them at the doors or even the chests, it will open them up and you will get all of the loot inside of them. So that's something good to know. Don't know why you would ever do this in a real game though, because the mythical weapons are pretty overpowered. Jumping into the last and final myth. This myth is when you throw down a decoy grenade and die to fall damage or even just die, will the decoys stay alive or do they die as well? This was a pretty simple and easy one to do. Basically, I threw down a whole ton of decoy grenades and then I killed myself with fall damage, and I was looking directly at all of the decoys. Usually they have a lifespan of about 30 seconds, but this time they were alive for about 10 seconds. I died to fall damage, then they all died instantly. So unfortunately, decoys are not able to stay alive unless you are alive as well. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure to go follow me on Twitter as well as Instagram. I will be trying to respond to as many messages as I possibly can for the next couple of days, so make sure you'll shoot me a message, and I will see you guys next time.